on this early November afternoon. I've got to say, perfect conditions as well for the first leg of this Western Conference semi-final. As always, the Tifo playing a big part in proceedings. The Timbers, the only club that matters. That's the version that the Timbers Army will tell you. Giovanni Savarese is the man who now leads their club, getting into the playoffs at the first time of asking. 15, 10 and 9 was how they finished. They finished in 5th place in the Western Conference. As Taylor said, took a bit of a gamble on the last day of the regular season, resting many of his starters, and it paid off when they came back fresh and got that victory in Dallas on Wednesday. Seattle, of course, were idle. They earned that right to be idle by finishing number 2. And of course, Brian Schmetzer has already reached 2 MLS Cup finals in his first 2 seasons. And how about that for a postseason record? 7-2 and 2. Second of those defeats, though, of course, coming in MLS Cup final last December in Toronto. Let's have a look at our Continental Tire Analyst Corner, Taylor. What do you got for us?
Well, there's so many numbers to look at when you're going into a rivalry that's playing for the 103rd time. But this one stood out to me. Team scoring first in the regular season games is unbeaten, winning 16 of those 21. And with how tightly contested the way these games were in the regular season that we showed you early on, you just get the feeling in this series and in this tie, whoever gets on the board first, because both teams are very comfortable defending, it's going to have a huge say in who wins today and ultimately who moves on to the Western Conference Final.
As you can see, plenty of traveling fans from just up I-5 as well. They made the 3-hour drive down. Always a great Seattle crowd here whenever these two meet at Providence Park. Ted Unkel will be the man in the middle, trying to keep a lid on proceedings. Not always the easiest task when these two rivals go head-to-head.
And especially in a rivalry game, it's going to be interesting what kind of match he officiates, especially in the first 15 to 20 minutes here.
Raul Ruidiaz in your picture. He's been the main man of late for the Sounders. Diego Chara has been the main man for the last 8 years for the Portland Timbers. Up against Ozzie Alonso, that's a duel that's always fascinating. Two of the prime exponents of their art. Welcome everyone to the Audi 2018 MLS Cup playoffs here at Bank of California Stadium. LAFC and RSL getting set for action. It is the first ever playoff game for this expansion side. What a night it promises to be. RSL, they needed a minor miracle to make it just to this knockout round. How they got here, the tale of the tape, and LAFC, Taylor, all along from the word go have very much looked the part, haven't they? They've got 57 points, most ever by an expansion franchise team in MLS history, eclipsing even what Atlanta did last year. RSL, second year under Mike Petke, and brilliant at home at Rio Tinto. Very different story on the road. Just the 3 wins on their travels. They'll have to try and put that right tonight, but it is a tall order indeed here at home, at which LAFC have been defeated just once since this place opened back in April. The black and gold and the claret and cobalt. A place in the Western Conference semi-finals at stake. It's all on the line tonight in LA. No second legs, no second chances. It's the purest form of playoff football. Come at Bank of California Stadium to a rapturous reception. this place has been such a shimmering addition to the LA sports landscape. Bob Bradley's side have gone about their business with remarkable efficiency. Having looked like an expansion team for much of this debut campaign. As we well know, the playoffs could be a very different story. It is the first voyage into the postseason for the league's newest club, but there's a man who's been there before, Bob Bradley. First MLS playoff game for 12 years, but of course he won it all with an expansion team 20 years ago. This is the side he sends out tonight.
Yeah, and a big part of this, you and I talked about it in the pregame, no real defensive midfield for out west is not in the lineup. So Lee Wynn, Benny Faber, when one goes forward, the other one needs to make sure they cover and provide that balance on the counter. But it's all about Rossi, Diamande, and Blessing going forward.
Yes, that collection of 12 goal scorers. Really, they led the line remarkably well for the expansion side. Mike Petke in the huddle with RSL at the end of his second year in charge, his first MLS Cup playoff game as a coach since 2014 with the New York Red Bulls, and he had some decisions to make in terms of his lineup tonight.
3 changes with the new at center back next to Silva, Mulholland next to Beckerman. Both of those players combined 3 games totally played in 2018, but no João Plata, so Corey Barrett will play more of a two-way player. He'll dig in defensively, and Kralic will play as a false number 9 with Savarino at times cheating, looking for that space in behind.
Regular season finale in Kansas City, a victory there could have kept him out of this knockout round game, but Vela has had a brilliant year.
Well, in big games, as for their big players to show up, Carlos Vela's been exactly that. He's been an absolute home run for Bob Bradley and LAFC. But the key part for me is how many touches does he get in key spots, right? You don't want him chasing the game to the sideline. He's going to play as a number 10. He's going to play underneath Diamande tonight. And Bob Bradley simply said, we need to get him on the ball.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the Audi 2018 MLS Cup playoffs on ESPN. Adrian Healy, Taylor Twellman, Sebastian Salazar with you here at Bank of California Stadium. And the big news at halftime, Christian Ramirez is being thrown on here for LAFC, replacing the ailing Adama Diamande. And so the man who moved from Minnesota United in August to join Bob Bradley's side will get a chance to do it again against RSL. The only goals he scored for LAFC. What a hero, the man who scored a hat-trick against the other LA team. 2 here tonight in his first playoff appearance. The man who's playing in the German second division last year. Well, he's playing in the Western Conference semi-final. RSL are there. LAFC will have to wait until next year.